guide, and let's discuss, if you can see those, Peter, those three thoughts. We'll do the first one. I say this a lot. These are my words at the beginning. Every thought that we think and every word that we speak creates our future. And then there's another secondary quote there. Be careful what you say to yourself, or it'll become your destiny. Peter, you trained for 12 and a half, 13 years after your parents answered an ad. And where was it?
Well, it was either the Culver City Daily Breeze or the Santa Monica Evening Outlook. It was the newspaper that they throw on your driveway at the end of the day, not the beginning of the day. And my dad used to like it because it had the closing stock quotes in the evening. We didn't have the internet back then, and so my dad wanted to see how his Anaconda Steel was doing and how his Borg Warner stock was doing. And so he always opened it up, and there was a little ad, and it said, and I know what it says because I have it. My mother saved everything. It said, and this is right in with point number one. It said, "Future Olympic champions sought in gymnastics."
Wow, that was the ad. Future Olympic.
That was the title of the article. Future Olympic champions sought in gymnastics.
Wow. And talk about an article for a champion's mindset masterclass. How old were you when your parents replied?
I was 11 and a half. It was towards the end of the year. So the man that would end up my coach for my entire career, Makoto Sakamoto, he had placed the ad in the paper, and he had just finished his career competing in the 1972 Olympic Games in Munich. And so he was living in Los Angeles and decided to start this program up. So that's kind of how it began. It was just an evening. He worked at a bank, so in the evenings is when I would show up with 4 other kids that qualified. I don't remember the names of any of them except for one, Bob Kiriyama, because he ended up doing gymnastics with me at UCLA for a year. But we just started in this little experimental program, and that's what it was. But along the lines, Kevin, of point number one is, and I've mentioned this before to your groups, so I apologize if those have heard this before, but I think it bears repeating, is that my coach was brilliant at never saying the words if, but only saying the words when. He never said, well, if you can make an Olympic team, if you can become a national team member, if you can compete in the junior national championships. It was always instead when. So when you do this, this is what you'll experience. When you walk into the stadium at the Olympic Games and you see the crowds and you see the other, because it's going to be an amazing feeling. When you go to your first world championship, you'll be shocked at how big the event is, because there's more gymnasts in the world championships than there are at the Olympics, because the Olympics is more selective. And he would just fill my mind with all of those affirmations. And I didn't even realize what he was doing, but I trusted him so much because he created a culture of trust in our gym. And I trusted him so much that I just believed him. Okay, so when I go to the Olympics, I mean, I'm not trying to simplify it. Trust me, there's a lot of hard work that goes into that. But he really built into my mindset the belief that I could do it, the belief that this really will happen if I follow the plan. And because I was training with a man that did follow a plan that led to him being a multiple Olympian, many-time Olympian. And so I thought, well, if it worked for him and he's teaching me the same thing, then it should work for me. And to me, It was logic. It was just logic. But I had to follow the plan. And that was the hard part, it was hard. The training was hard.
Well, yeah.